Hi, I'm Kim Alexis.
Today in Paris, Patrick Kelly is showing his collection of spring clothes.
Hi, I'm Kim Alexis with your ticket to adventure.
I'm Kim Alexis, and I'm here in New York City.
We've got a great show coming up for you, so stay tuned.
So I am here with someone who has been labeled the human calculator. He's a Guinness World Record holder, author, friend of mine, Scott Flansburg. Hello.
Thank you for having me, Kim. And yes, we're friends, and golf is the common denominator.
Yes,
we love golf.
Although we haven't golfed together.
It's probably better that way. That's why we're still friends.
Exactly.
You know?
Well, I'm not that competitive. I would be like, Scott, could get my ball?
Every tournament I go to, you're there. It's awesome. I love it. I love that you go into all these charity tournaments.
Yeah, we're kind of going in the same circles.
Yes.
But I find that the people that I meet there have such good hearts because you're giving back and not asking for anything. So that's what's nice, is that you meet like-minded people. And
well said.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's nothing like giving back and then being able to have a little party while you do it, right?
It's the best. Great circle of friends.
Yeah. All right. So I guess we need to start because people don't understand this, and you have explained it to me many a time. You were very young. You have a wonderful gift that probably not many, if any other people have. So this man is faster than a calculator. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, when I was a little kid, I was learning about numbers and I really didn't care. I was disconnected. I was all about sports. I was on the baseball team, football, basketball. I did everything except class in school. You know, I just was not into it.
Right.
And I got picked to go up to the board because our teacher just taught us how to add up a column of numbers where you have to carry. And I was not paying attention.
You guys know what carrying numbers are, I hope.
Right, you got to carry the one.
Yeah.
And I got busted. She saw I wasn't listening. I was talking to my buddy about baseball, and she picked me to go up to the front of the class and do the problems she had put up.
And you were in third grade?
Third grade,
Okay.
And I didn't know what to do.
So is that 8?
No, 8 or 9. I can't remember. Okay. I'm not good with the numbers, but it was 8 or 9.
Yes, you are.
And I went up there and I didn't know what to do. And my first reaction was, oh no, I'm in front of all my buddies.
Right.
I'm going to embarrass myself. This is going to look bad. And they're going to make fun of me about this. So out of fear or luck, I looked at the numbers and I said, oh, okay, I got to add all these up. Well, I learned how to read left to right. So I must have to do my numbers left to right, which is not how they're taught.
Right.
You start on the right and you go to the left and you carry. And I did it left to right. I went down the columns backwards and I just kept a running total in my head. So I said, all right, well, 10 plus 10 is 20, plus 10 is 30, plus 10 is 40, 40 plus 5 is 45, 46, 50, 52. And I said, 52. And she goes, you're right, but where's your carry? And I said, I don't even know what you're talking about. What's a carry? And she goes, you got to carry the one. I said, well, let's try another one. So she wrote down 4 more numbers. And I did the same thing. And I said, well, that's 87.
And you did it fast.
Fast as you could write them down.
Right.
And she goes, what are you doing? I said, you go like this. She goes, no, you got to go like this. And I said, I think it's faster and easier if you go this way. And so from that point on, everything I would learn in math class, I would learn the way they wanted me to, but I would sit there and within a few minutes have figured out a more efficient way to get the answer where you only need to use your brain. When you learn how to do it the way we teach, you got to have pencil and paper because you got to remember this, you got to carry that, you got to put this over there. There's a lot of methodology to it that you can never replicate in your brain and try to juggle all those numbers and symbols and keep track of all that. So I found ways to get the answer where you didn't have to retain all those things, where you just crunch to the answer. And I've been doing that since I was a little kid.
So now you're 7, you're in third grade. Did people scream freak at you immediately? Or?
Yeah. It was funny because the teachers didn't know what to do with me.
Right.
By 4th grade, my teacher, he didn't like me at all, Mr. Botter. He was like, it's my way or the highway. I was like, oh, okay. So I got to do it the way he thought. It was so slow and boring. And then in 5th grade, Mr. Mike Potter, never forget this man, I love him. And we all have a teacher in our life that changes our life for the better.
Yeah.
And Mr. Mike Potter, 5th grade, I walked into class and he goes, I heard about you. He goes, here's how we're going to handle this. you figure something out in my class, you bring it to me. And if I can prove that it's not a trick, that it's algebraic, that it's grounded in algebra, I'll let you share it with the rest of the class. And I was like, oh, this would be cool. So he taught us how to multiply two-digit numbers together, like 16 times 14. And
What's 16 times
224. But the way that he was showing us how to do it, I'm like, oh man, it was a little slow.
Right.
And I was like, I think you can do it. And within a minute, I had figured out an easier way to multiply two-digit numbers together where you don't have to write anything down to carry. It just writes the answer down automatically. And the same question, he's like, where is that coming from? And I said, Mr. Potter, it is screaming at me from off the board. I can't not see it. And that class really changed my life because instead of worrying about doing it my way or the highway, he let me go.
He appreciated you.
And by the end of 5th grade, all I knew is that I had an insight into numbers that most teachers didn't even have because they had memorized or learned the way they learned.
Right.
And we're just teaching that. And I kept figuring out things that nobody had done.
Did they give you math homework or were you just like, did they just wash their hands?
No, that was easy. Yeah,
Yep.
that's no.
Right.
No, only like calculus. When I got up to calculus, maybe it became like homework. But anything arithmetic, just crunching numbers.
Right.
I had a test with 100 problems on it when I was in 6th grade, and they were just testing to see what's up with me. And I did all 100 problems in 3.5 minutes. And the teacher thought I needed to go to the bathroom or I wanted a break or something. I go, no, I'm done. And they looked and they saw the answers right and they sent me home. They didn't know what to do with me. So there weren't any gifted programs back in the 70s like we have today.
Right. So you kind of not floundered really, but you couldn't really capitalize on it because you didn't still understand it.
Well, it was fun. My mom was a librarian and I found these math magazines that had contests in them. And so you would figure out the answer and then send them in.
Oh.
But that cost money. You had to buy an envelope, a stamp, maybe $1 submission or something. And after a while, mom's like, hey, I can't keep entering all these contests. And so I had a little bit of an outlet, but I got really lucky. Mr. Murphy in 8th grade and Mr. Thomas in high school, they both embraced me. They didn't shut me down. They actually challenged me to see what else I could come up with. So I was very blessed.
Right. So now you're ready to go off to college. And you know how you sit, right? you weren't, right? You didn't want to go to college?
Well, I actually didn't graduate high school.
You did not?
I had a personality conflict with my teacher in English in 12th grade.
Personality conflict.
Yes, that's how I phrase it.
That's a nice way of putting it.
In New York State, you have to have an English credit.
I'm from New York State, and I'm older than you.
Yeah, I'm 62.
I'm
and
65.
I was in upstate near Herkimer. It's between Syracuse and Albany. And you have to have an English credit your senior year to graduate. I had scholarships. I had more than enough credits. I had everything. And I was getting ready to go to college, math, baseball. I was really excited. And then the English teacher gave me a failing grade on my final in English by 1 point. So he gave me a 69. I needed 70. And that surrendered all my scholarships and high school diploma.
Wow. So here you're thinking, okay, this is the end of the world. What am I going to do? All my plans came crashing down.
I joined the Air Force. And I was in Japan a couple months later.
Wow.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So you turned something from a negative into a positive.
Yeah.
If you can call the Air Force positive. I'm sure you learned a lot there.
I needed a little discipline. I grew up in a big family with a lot of kids, so I could get away with a lot of stuff and not show up for hours. Just too many things going on.
Right.
And the Air Force gave me a bit of a structure, which I learned that I really don't fit well in. But it was nice to know what's out there.
Right.
And it was a blessing to travel the world and go to school and stuff. But I got out of the Air Force after 6 years and started doing this full time.
All right. So so you were 4 years in Japan.
Yeah, 2 years in Alabama.
And in Alabama. So now a school asks you to do what?
Thank you for remembering that. It's so funny.
I've got my notes.
My supervisor in the Air Force, his son failed 2nd grade math. He asked me to sit down and spend a little time with Travis and see if I could help him.
Right.
I get a call a few days later from his teacher, and his teacher says, are you the guy talking to Travis? Because he's freaking us out in math classes right now. He went from the worst student to being able to do all kinds of amazing things. I said, yeah, I just showed him some shortcuts and stuff. And he goes, well, you got to come in and talk to the rest of the class. I had never done anything like that before, really never demonstrated other than my friends and circles. And the reaction from the kids in the classroom that day really inspired me because I had a God-given ability to do numbers.
Right.
But where do you go with that?
Exactly. You have to figure that out. And it's not easy. It's like, how can I capitalize on this? How can I help other people, right?
A lot of questions were flying through my brain. Plus, I had a commitment to the Air Force. All of a sudden, I found something I really want to do, not be in the Air Force anymore. I was being a computer programmer by then. And
so you didn't like computer programming?
It was all right. But, when I started with computer programming in the Air Force, we were doing batches of cards, and you stick them into the computer, and it would organize them and write code. This was when computers were not even a thing yet, So,
Right. So you weren't doing any of the work. You were just manually putting things in and having the computer do it.
Well, I would create the cards, create the flow, the program, and then you'd have to submit those cards to a machine, and it would process it and then start running the program. But that's how you had to do it. That was in the early 80s.
I think of you that you could have been like Einstein, Oppenheimer, those guys that helped crack codes, or that the Army would have, or the Air Force would have whisked off and put in a dark room, and you could still be cranking out numbers, but you went this other way.
Yeah, the Air Force gave me a special duty assignment to go into intelligence. That's why I ended up in Japan, Air Force Office of Special Investigations. And it was a fun 4 years. I got to see a lot of amazing things and learn Japanese, and got married over there, all kinds. It was a great, great experience. But I just wasn't fit for that structure. I'm a free spirit. And as soon as I got out of the Air Force, I started doing this human calculator thing. And it was so great to have a God-given ability and to use it for something good. It really put me in a zone that I just knew was the right place.
Right. So here you're kind of, I love this because this is, so you could have gone all these other ways, but where you found your joy and your peace was talking to the kids.
And what's funny, Kim, is I didn't realize how much of an impact I could have on math education, in that all the kids are learning stuff the same way.
Right.
I had all these other ideas, and teachers were open to it because kids are having such a tough time with arithmetic. It opened up that door. And when I started sharing my ideas with the kids,
right,
their enthusiasm is contagious. And I just couldn't wait to get in front of the next group of kids and then hopefully inspire them. And I didn't miss the Air Force at all. I really, as soon as I started this, I knew that I was on a path where it was very satisfying to my soul.
Right.
And I felt like I was using my gift. And you combine those two things, and it just puts you in a moment where you're always present.
Right.
And I think the kids sense that.
And then you had some mentorship along the way, two people that I have read about anyway. So Don Davenport.
Double D. He's actually triple D.
Oh, triple D.
Love the triple D. Don Davenport. And all of his boys are D Davenport as well. Yeah, Don Davenport was a marketing advertising guru in the Montgomery, Alabama area. And I reached out to him because I knew something was up after that school thing.
So you went to him.
Yeah, and we had lunch.
Right.
He asked a million questions, and he goes, let me get back to you. He goes, this is fascinating, amazing. Let me just get my mind around it. We had a lunch about a week later, and we started talking about how to strategize, how to get this started.
Well, and this was when you started building a brand, and because we're the same age, we didn't understand that word. We didn't know that we as people could be brands. We thought there was just huge corporations and they were brands, but we didn't realize that we ourselves were becoming brands.
And, here's the thing, Kim. It's one thing to be a talent. It's another thing to be a marketing person. And there's so many skill sets that are required to do all these things.
Right.
I had no experience in any of them. And now all of a sudden I own a brand that's me. So it was a really fun experience trying to figure out how to get that going. And Don just stepped in. The guy could sell anything to anybody, even math. And he helped me get started.
Right. So then what happened? Let me see. So you spent years working with kids. You've worked with
over 2 million kids now in 35
counting?
years. I do.
in your head. Oh, I want to go back to the story when you were young, because I
Okay.
love this, and I think people would like this. That when you would go with your dad to the grocery store, he would put things in the basket, you would see the price tag, and you would tell him how much the check was to write when. And
Yeah. We didn't have a lot of money. We had a lot of kids. And my dad had like 3 jobs. And when he realized I could do this, my mom had, let's say it was $150
Right.
to go to the grocery store. I would add everything up as they put it in the cart.
Right.
And my dad would have me tell him the total so he could write out the check before they started ringing us up. And that's the day that changed my life, because I got it right. It was $149.34, whatever it was. And my dad wrote out the check, and the manager happened to be by the register. He goes, "What are you doing? Wait till," he goes, no, my son can do it. And he goes, "No, he can't. There's stuff that's taxed. There's stuff that's not taxed." And I go, "Yeah, I keep 2 columns going." And when the register came up and said $149.34, the reaction of that manager that day
Right.
is what made me realize that maybe I'm doing some crazy stuff that most people can't do. Because to be honest with you, Kim, I thought all adults could do all the stuff I was doing in my head. I was just ahead of the kids in my class.
Right.
No, these adults can't do mental math either.
No. And I was just paying all of my bills earlier, and I'm like, man, I wish Scott was here right now.
I don't do miracles, all right?
I was trying to calculate which money to move and transfer, and then
No.
Jeff's talking to me. I'm like, stop. I'm like in the middle of something. I got to think.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a superpower in a way. I'm very blessed. I mean, to be called the human calculator and get invited to schools and teacher workshops and corporate events around the world, just doing what I love.
Right.
Unbelievable.
So, but to go from the school, somehow you got on the Today Show and Regis Philbin. And Regis is the one that labeled you pretty much the human calculator. How did you get from going to schools? Who was the one that first heard you, and how did you know, oh, I don't mind going on live TV?
The lesson here is you never know who's in the room when you're speaking.
Right.
And there was a guy sitting in the back who was a dad of one of the kids that I was performing at that school. He was a reporter. He did a little story in Montgomery, Alabama, in a little newspaper, and somehow that article made it to the desk at Regis and Kathy Lee's office in New York City. And I got the call to go on that show. And I'd never been on a TV show, no less a national TV show. And
Were you scared?
yeah, my mind was spinning. All I remember is Regis was so gracious. Kathy Lee was awesome. And at the end of the interview, Regis goes, "Scott, you're like a human calculator." And as soon as I heard that, I was like, yeah,
Bingo.
That's it.
Yeah.
And so that's when that was born.
Yeah. Well, you're faster than one. That's what I love.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll get to that in a minute. Oh, and I would like all of you, audience, to get some type of calculator, because we're going to do a little test later. So this guy is going to amaze you because he's faster than our fingers to be able to put the numbers in. So now what made you write books?
Yeah. I didn't realize that what I had in my brain would be useful to others. And only after visiting those schools did I realize I needed to put them down. And the Regis and Kathy Lee interview got me a literary agent who said, "Hey, I can sell a book tomorrow for you."
Okay.
So we went to William Morrow and
William Morris. Yep.
Maybe, yeah. William Morrow. I don't.
It's William Morris.
Is it? I'm not good with
I
letters.
was with them too.
And
You're not good with letters.
And my agent got me a deal. Like 3 days later, I was in their office signing a contract to write Math Magic, and I moved to Del Mar, California, and sat on the beach for a couple of years and downloaded everything and had a ghostwriter and went through it. It was a great experience because it really got everything out of my brain and onto paper.
Right. I would think having a gift, it's hard to explain. Like, what, you stupid? That's like this. I don't know how to explain it. You just get there.
You nailed it, Kim. That's what's funny is I did take some things for granted. Like I said, I thought all adults could do it.
Right.
And when I started seeing the kids' reactions, I knew that just do it for the kids. Just put it all down there so any little kid could open that book and say, okay, I want to see what Scott's up to, and go through it and get it. So communicating is really interesting, Kim, because when you do something fast and people think they can never do it, You got to slow down.
Yeah.
Get them on the same page, and then you can accelerate. So that was a lesson unto itself. I'm a little quick.
You're a lot of quick.
Yeah, and it was hard to slow down, and so that process really showed me the speed that I needed to deliver my message so that children could understand it.
Yeah. What's the youngest age of kids that can kind of understand what you say?
Well, I'm chairman of the World Mental Math Championships called the Memoriad, and at the Las Vegas Championships in 2016, a little girl that was maybe this tall, she was 6 years old, and she walked up there and started breaking world records doing mental math.
She didn't beat your records.
Not my record, but she beat other records that existed. So that
so
was
there's more of
breathtaking.
you out there.
Yeah, and then a little girl named Priyanshi Samani in the World Championships in Germany in 2008 really woke me up. She broke 3 world records in 2 days, and I got to watch her doing it, and I was like, holy cow, I need to focus on helping more kids have a foundation of number sense so they can get to there instead of worrying about me trying to break more records on myself. And that 2008 trip to Germany really changed my life because I was so inspired to make sure kids have a chance at understanding numbers. It just seems like, Kim, it's become socially accepted to be bad at math. You can admit that on national TV and nobody would judge you.
Right.
But if you were on Good Morning America and you said, actually I'm illiterate, it's embarrassing and people would judge you. Innumeracy is illiteracy with numbers. And so my mission is to help eliminate that from folks.
Well, you make it fun, right?
That's all you got to do with anything.
Simple and fun. I think that's the way to go.
Good word. Simple, most importantly. My goal, Kim, is whatever I'm doing, I'm going to find the easiest approach with the least amount of steps to getting that answer.
Right.
And that's all my books are about, is how to use your mind.
Right, because some of those equations can go down, right, with a pencil, and then you're erasing and finding the column. And
well, that's intimidating.
Welcome to our world.
Well, but it's intimidating to a lot of kids, right?
Right.
Parents too.
Yeah.
I'm going to check this kid's homework. I can't even understand what's happening here. Yeah. So, it's really interesting. And I don't know how humans made it this far without having a better way to approach arithmetic, because numbers are all around us. It runs our life in a lot of ways, and yet we're disconnected and detached from this powerful, precise language of numbers. And so I just felt like I needed to help people get into the world of numbers.
So can you go to the school board, like on a national level, and say, you're doing it all wrong and here's a better way?
Thinking about buying a home, but not sure where to start? Jeff Schwartz at Altitude Home Loans makes the process simple. From application to closing, Jeff helps you find the best loan for your financial goals and keeps everything moving smoothly, because the right team makes all the difference. Ready to get started? Apply today with Jeff at Altitude Home Loans.
It's so funny you said it that way. Before I came here today to tape this with you, I just did a workshop for Scottsdale School District.
Good.
And
we're going to start here.
That's exactly right. And so I've been trying to sell this program of how I approach numbers for many years, but I kept saying something that you just said that I think created a barrier. I kept saying, you're doing it wrong. I've got the right way. I've reworded that approach to now I have found a way to help supplement what you're already doing in the classrooms, to help reinforce those lessons and give the kids a better foundation of number sense. So it's how you word that.
Descriptive words of reinforcement and supplement.
And
instead of idiot.
Right. And now teachers, whoever, when you start saying stuff like that, they get defensive.
Yes.
So the last thing they're going to do is, I want to hear more about that. They're shutting down a little bit. So
but if people see you in action, which we're going to show, but I mean, you cannot dispute that you just have something that we don't. When you were in the Air Force, didn't they take you in some dark room and go into your mind and how is he doing this? And
that's how I ended up in Japan. When you go through Air Force basic training, they assign you jobs. The job I got assigned was refrigerator repairman. After all basic training, I said, no, I'm not doing that. And a TV station in Mississippi at the tech training, had heard that I was there and what I could do. I don't know how they even heard about me. And they asked the base commander for permission to interview me. And the base commander was like, why? And when they told him, he called me in and said, okay, what's going on here? And I told him. And I went and I did the interview. And the next day I got a special duty assignment to Tokyo, Japan, working for intelligence. So I went from refrigerator repairman to an administrative assistant in intelligence, which was much more exciting.
Right. Well, I love that you said, no, that's not my gift. That's not my strength.
I hope kids, I mean, to me, if you don't love what you're doing.
Well, you have to advocate for yourself.
Yeah. And, you know, people push into corners that they can manage you.
Right.
I mean, my whole thing is about, if you have a gift, tune into that and see how you can use it to help others.
Right.
And then try to monetize that.
Right. And into empowering people versus, you're not into rebellion. No, it's more just, let's just try and do this in a easier, better, simpler way.
But I am guilty that for years I used the wrong words that may have pushed teachers and administrative staff away from my curriculum that I believe is much better than what we are using in schools.
Right.
So you got to find middle ground there.
Right.
And so that's what I'm doing now. That's what happened today. I lightened up a little bit.
You used your nice words.
Yes.
So talk about the Guinness Book of World Records. What did that look like? And is this when we should do our...
Yeah, sure. This is crazy.
Everyone get your calculators.
I did a TV show many, many years ago, and the host was Pat O'Brien.
Yes,
from CBS Sports. He used to do the U.S. Open tennis and everything.
Yeah, I've worked with him before.
The producer was Eric Schatz in L.A., and he produced the show called How'd They Do That? And Pat O'Brien was the host. I did that show. It went great. And then a few years later, Eric Schatz, the producer, got the license to do Guinness World Records primetime in America as a TV show where people could break records. And he called me up and he goes, hey, what can you do that we could get you in the Guinness book? And I said, well, the weirdest thing I can do that people really freak out about is I can count by a number really fast.
Right.
And so I explained it to him and he goes, okay, let's do that. He created this contest. He gave me 15 seconds to race the fastest accountant in the world using a 10-key calculator. So the judge chose the number 38. So I had to add 38 plus 38 plus 38 plus 38 and just say the answers out loud. Racing a girl who's going 38 plus 38 plus 38 plus 38 plus 38 plus 38 plus, and she's flying. And at the end of the 15 seconds, she had 28 answers and I had 36. So I beat the machine by 8. So I'll demonstrate that for you.
All right.
I'm going to show you a shortcut. So you don't have to race me. You can just check me.
Okay.
Clear your calculator.
I got it.
Make it easy.
Zero.
Punch in 12 plus 12 and hit equals. And obviously it's going to say
12.
24.
Yes.
But with an iPhone calculator, if you hit equals again, it should say 36.
Yep.
And keep hitting equals and it'll keep adding 12 more.
And it even says it in euro dollars.
Oh, nice. Wow, you're tuned in. So keep hitting equals and it'll go 48, 60, 72, 84, 96, 108, 120, 132. Right, there you go. So now I can do that with any number. So clear the calculator and don't tell me the number yet, but pick a tough number that you want me to count by. A 2-digit number.
Right.
No 5s or 0s or 1s. Make it tough, all right? Nothing Jeff could do. Make it tough, all right?
Okay, I got it. And I add it?
Add it to itself.
Okay.
And then hit equals.
Okay.
And now you're going to tell me the starting number, and I'll start counting by it. And you hit equals each time I say the next answer.
Okay.
I'm ready when you are.
So, but we have to give the audience time because I want them to do it
Oh, yeah,
too.
go ahead.
So I picked 63.
So 63 plus 63 equals, and I'm ready when you are. You tell me when to go.
So, okay, put it in your calculator. Hopefully you're going to, because he's going fast. Are you ready? Your mark, get set, go.
126, 189, 252, 315, 378, 441, 504, 567, 630, 693, 756, 819, 882, 945, 1000, 8071, 1134, 1197, 1260, 1323, 1386, 1449, 1512, 1575, yada, yada, like that.
Yeah.
And I start slow so people can see what the heck's happening.
Yeah.
Then I go meet him. And that's to Alice Cooper. When I visited Alice Cooper in Cheryl's kids' school, they sat in the back and watched my show.
Right.
And when I finished, Alice goes, wow, that's crazy. That's cool. He goes, and I said, do you have any suggestions? How can I make my show better? And he's a showman. He's a theatrical guy. He goes, Scott, that world record, that counting thing, don't just start babbling. Nobody knows what's going on. He goes, do 5 slow, 5 medium, 5 fast, then you go crazy because everybody will know what you're doing by then. And sure enough, that revolutionized my whole reaction to the kids at the shows.
Yeah, yeah. So hopefully you saw, I mean, your brain is even faster than your mouth.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I was on Stanley's Superhumans. He invented, a lot of superheroes. And they had me on season 1, episode 1, and took me to a neurobiological research center in New Mexico.
I bet you this was fascinating
to watch my brain. For me, I was so excited. You're right.
Yeah.
And they said, we're going to have you do your world record in an fMRI, this new machine they had, and it's going to watch your brain as you're doing your world record.
Were you all like all the wires
I
everywhere?
was in a cave. I was in there, deep in a thing for a long time. It was claustrophobic. And the doctor says, okay, count by 78. And I'm going 78, 156, 234, 312, 394, 68. And he goes, oh, hold on. He goes, you move too much and it's affecting the readings. So instead, I'm going to say a number and just count by it in your head. And we're going to see if we can capture it on the screen. And so he goes, count by 83. And I'm like, 166, 243, in my head. And after about 15 seconds, he goes, okay, stop. And he goes, okay, we got it. We saw what's happening. He goes, give us a couple hours and we'll come back and tell you what we found.
Right. They took you out of the cave.
I'm freaking, hallelujah. And I'm freaking out. I'm like, I can't wait to see. I didn't know the answer.
Right.
And he comes in 2 hours later. He goes, Scott, we didn't know if one part of your brain just lights up and you do it, or does your whole brain light up, or what happens? Turns out that this area right here is called Area 44. It's called the Broman area.
Okay.
This is where movement and math happen.
Both movement and math.
It calculates movement, and math is done in here. And he said, when I ask my brain to count by a number, that 12 other areas of my brain, neurons come running over here, help calculate, and then they all go back to doing what they were doing. So he said he's never seen anything like it. And he goes, can you teach it? And I started explaining how to teach it. He goes, oh, I would think that this is just a random, like, did you hit your head when you were a kid? I said, yes, I did twice.
Struck by lightning.
I did twice. I hit my head twice. When I was 3rd or 4th grade, my brother and I, Randy, we were tobogganing down a hill in upstate New York. And we were behind my Aunt Rita's house. And we took a hill that we don't normally take.
Right.
Didn't know what was ahead. And we come up over a ravine, and sure enough, there's a barbed wire fence in front of us. Well, I'm in the front, my brother's in the back. He jumps off, which pushes me even harder into the fence. And I have a Harry Potter scar right here from when that happened. And then a year later, I was playing Little League, and my brother was pitching, and I was waiting for the next game. And somebody hit a foul ball, and if you get the foul ball, you get to keep the ball. Well, that's a big deal when you're a 10-year-old kid, right? So all the kids were running around the bleachers, and I decided I could run under the bleachers and duck and beat everybody. Well, I lifted up one bleacher too soon and took off this. And my mom was sitting in the bleacher and could hear it and knew it was bad.
Did you get the ball?
No, I was down. I was cold. And so I did have 2
knockouts.
Yeah, pretty severe. Yeah. But the class stuff was already starting to happen. So it's just a mishmash of all that. But the Stanley experience was great for me to just understand how my brain works. I didn't know about the Broman area.
Well, so ours doesn't do that. We don't take all these circuits from my brain anyways. Doesn't take all these circuits from everywhere else.
I don't think so, because I have wired my brain differently by the way I approach numbers. So you get different neural connectors.
So your theory is, like, when you teach these children, let's practice this way and retrain the brain.
And connect those neurons that have never talked because it hasn't been approached that way. I believe when you go through my coloring book that I invented for kids with numbers, it's creating neural pathways that might never have been. And when they connect those, it's just like turning on your calculator. And now, you can't shut it off. It's always there.
Right.
Yeah, so you can use it whenever you want.
Right. I love, by the way, when we're at a party or something and I'm like trying to I'm like, Scott, what's this by this? And you're like, spit the number. I'm like, yeah, I didn't even need to use my mind.
You know what, Kim? I was a really handy friend until Steve Jobs, 2007, and the iPhone came out. And all of a sudden, everybody's got a calculator in their pocket. Until that day, I was a very handy person
but you're still
to have
faster.
around.
You're faster.
That's true.
Yeah. So talk about your counting bee that you set up in Arizona.
Yeah, this is so cool. The counting bee is based off of the world record that Eric designed for Guinness World Records. Every kid gets 15 seconds, just like I did, in each round. The first round, all the participants have to count by 3, all right? Which is fair. It's a fair measurement because everybody's doing the same thing. When you do a spelling bee, you might get a word you memorized. Jeff might get a word he never heard. I might get a word I'm not sure. It's very random.
Yes.
But with the counting bee, we're all counting by 3. You got 15 seconds, but nobody starts at 0. So you don't go 3, 6, 9, 12 and see how fast you can go. Everybody gets a random starting number. So when Jeff gets up on stage, we might say, Jeff, start at 13, count by 3, go. Now he's got to say 16, 19, 22, 25. We see how many answers he gets in 15 seconds. You start at 11, count by 3. I start at 7, count by 3. We see how many answers you get, and that's your score. Next round, each person gets 15 seconds. You got to count by 4, starting at a random number. So Jeff might have to start at 17 and count by 4.
Right.
Maybe he gets 20 answers. There's his score. And by the time we get to about 7 or 8, you can easily see which kids are the fastest mathletes.
Yeah. Mathletes, I love it.
Yeah, Math Counts is a junior high organization. It's a national contest that just happened a couple weeks ago, and they use the word mathletes.
I love it.
And I really love that phrase because we celebrate athletes in our society so much.
Yes.
Imagine if we celebrated mathletes like we
Right. Or
celebrate
any
athletes.
different person that has a wonderful way of learning something.
Yeah. Mental sports, I guess, is another way to put it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you got to celebrate smart.
Yeah. Yeah, you do. Yeah. I love in spelling bees where they're like, give me the definition. I'm like, what help is that going to be? Like,
It helps. These kids, they can figure things out by origin of country. And there's nuances. I mean, it's an art. It's a different art, though.
Yes.
But with counting and crunching numbers, here's the difference. The spelling bee only works in America and English-speaking countries. Like in Tokyo, they aren't doing a spelling bee.
why?
Because they don't use the English alphabet. You know, they're using kanji and hiragana, katakana.
They're using symbols, yes.
Yeah.
It's called
so the spelling
kanji?
bees, well, there's different writing styles. There's kanji, which is very hieroglyphic looking, but also there's hiragana and katakana. Hiragana is for Japanese words. Katakana is for foreign words. So there's a lot of symbols and things like that. But with English, there's 26 letters.
Right.
It's very easy to measure and test. The difference is the counting bee works in every country, every language, because all the kids are using 0 through 9.
Right.
And so it's
And there's
fair.
no gray area.
None. And
Right.
that's the best part. Like you said, when a kid gets a word, they interview the judge for 2 minutes to interrogate them to see what they can learn. When you say start at 7, count by 3, the
Right.
clock starts, you got 15 seconds.
There's only
Good
one
luck,
answer,
kid.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Okay, I love it. So now I'm going to take you back to where you grew up in Herkimer and talk about what you're doing now. You are now 62. Instead of working with children, you've taken on this big project.
Yeah.
There was a lot of information there, but I'm going to have you talk about it. So you're now a CEO.
You know, it's crazy, Kim. I can't relate to that. Like, I never picture myself as a CEO. I'm running a foundation.
Do you have a suit?
I do. I had to wear it like a few months ago, so I know I still have it. I've started a foundation. Never thought I'd run a foundation with 9 board members. I own a semi-pro basketball team. That's a full-time job.
That this?
I've got...
What you have, your t-shirt?
Yep, the Herkimer OG originals. And so I'm doing a lot of things I wasn't good at. And that's what I wanted to mention to you, Kim, because like we were talking about, when you're good at something, you just want to go kill it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
When COVID hit, the schools shut down and I couldn't be going to schools and visiting. And I go back home to Herkimer. My dad was having some health issues. And so I wanted to go back to upstate New York and help him out. And he would pass out every day from his medicine. So I would just go take a walk to get some fresh air. And I walked into the Herkimer County Historical Society. And there's a guy there who was a volunteer who was like 85 years old, Ted. And I said, Ted, tell me something about my hometown Herkimer that would blow me away.
I love it.
And he goes, well, you know about that basketball was invented here in Herkimer. And I said, no, I don't know that. And he goes, oh yeah, it's real. And I said, I need to see some proof. He hands me a book called I Grew Up with Basketball by a guy named Frank J. Baslow. He wrote this book in 1952. And he claims that the first game of basketball happened in Herkimer, and they sent those rules into Springfield YMCA And that's the headquarters of the YMCA. That's why they sent them there. And James Naismith was the editor of the magazine that published the rules, but in no way claimed to have invented the sport.
Okay.
He just published the rules. He didn't say anybody invented it. It was neutral.
Right.
Well, here's the coincidence that freaked me out, Kim. I'm all about the number 9.
That's right. So you talk about counting on your fingers to 9 instead of...
Yeah, like this. So if you look at your calculator, there's no 10. It's not 1 through 10.
No.
It's 0 through 9. There are 10 digits that are the alphabet of all the numbers. And we have 10 fingers. The human body is designed to have 10 fingers. And I teach kids to go like this. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Right.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That activates your calculator because now you counted 0 and you ended at 9, just like a calculator. And the secret to numbers is that everything goes back to the number 9. I was playing golf with Alice Cooper on 9/9/99, and we were all getting ready to die from Y2K. The calendar was going to kill us in a couple months. I was really freaking out. And I visited a school in Paradise Valley, and a little girl asked me to do my Guinness World Record and count by the number 28. So I'm just going 28, 56, 84, 112, 140, 168, 196, 224, 252, 280, 308, 336, 364. I heard 364, and I was like, that's almost a year. So 13 times 28 is 364. Why aren't we using a 13-month calendar? Every month could be 28 days. That's 4 weeks. Every day would be the same day of the week every month. The 1st would always be a Monday. The 5th would always be a Friday. Every number would be the same day of the week every month. And I invented the 0 day to add it up to 365. And I'm getting ready to launch it on 9/9/99. Big story coming out here in Phoenix in the New Times. And I get a call the night before and they say, hey, we're going to do it next week. There's not enough room this week. And I was like, next week is at 9/9/99.
Right.
They needed it tomorrow.
Right.
And they didn't get it. And I was all bummed out.
Because you're a numbers guy.
Well, and I show up at the golf course the next day, the Arizona Biltmore, and it's just me and Alice. And I told Alice what happened, and he goes, Scott, don't worry. You know, he runs our Bible study on Wednesday mornings. He was like, everything happens for a reason. Wasn't supposed to happen today. It's okay. And we get to the 18th hole, and Alice goes, hey, I wrote a song called 18. 1 + 8 is 9. Today's 9/9/99. How come 18 adds up to 9? And I said, Alice, that's actually pretty easy. Any number times 9, that answer adds up to 9. Like 3 times 9 is 27.
Yeah.
2 and 7 is 9. 6 times 9 is 54. 5 and 4 is 9. 8 times 9 is 72. 7 and 2 is 9. He goes, okay, I don't care. And I'm driving home and I'm thinking about this, like, why doesn't anybody care about that simple thing? And I got home and I looked at my 13-month calendar and I did something. I looked at 13 and my brain went, 1 + 3 is 4. 13 minus 4
is 9.
Is 9. I was like, oh my gosh, what a weird coincidence to notice that on 9/9/99.
Right.
I try it with the number 11. 1 and 1 is 2. 11 minus 2
9
is 9. Like, what's going on? Kim, honestly, I've started to do all these numbers and it's working. Everything goes back to 9 and I'm like, oh my gosh, did I miss a day in like 3rd or 4th grade when they taught this? And everybody on the planet knows it. And here I am, the human calculator, and I don't know this?
You keep thinking like you're missing something, and you're like a way ahead of the game.
I did not know it at that time. I was freaking out that morning. I had like my own little personal Y2K. And I called my high school to get my math teacher on the phone. His name's Tommy Thomas, T-squared. We call him T-squared. And I get him in the teacher lobby lounge, and I go, T-squared, try this with 13, try it with 11, try it with 20, try it with 55, And he goes, oh, that's cute. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, that probably just works for 2-digit numbers. And I go, no, it's working for all of them. If you try 150, 1 + 5 + 0 is 6. 150 minus 6 is 144. And that answer, 144, adds up to 9. And he goes, oh, wow, that's interesting. Well, good luck with that. And that's it. So I'm like, I'm calling my math friends. I'm like, hey, what is this pattern called? Who discovered it? When did they discover it? What purpose does it serve? I couldn't find anything. And it took me 2 years and I figured out that that's why I have all my curriculum now is to help kids learn this pattern, how everything goes back to the number 9. Well, I'm consumed with that since 1999, right? I go home in 2020 for COVID. My dad had passed after a little while, and I'm working on this basketball project, and that's where it hits. In the research, we found the name of the first basketball team ever was called the Herkimer 9. I'm born in Herkimer, and I'm freaking out about the number 9, And the first basketball team ever was called the Herkimer
And
Nine.
you're like, bing.
I couldn't believe it. And the reason is it was a baseball team with 9 kids.
Yes.
And they were trying to figure out a way to stay in shape during the winter. And so they invented basketball. And they played a game. And so that's how that all started. So now here I am going, oh my gosh, what are the odds? I'm in my hometown and the first team was called the Herkimer Nine. I'm trying to help kids with the 9 and now this thing. And so that really sucked me in even farther. And now 5 years later, to paraphrase everything, we published a book called Nay's Myth, MYTH, Basketball Stolen Legacy. And it lists all the evidence to show the things that happened in Herkimer to prove that a game happened before Springfield. And all the things that Springfield and the Naismith family and that whole crew have done to keep this story out of the news for over 100 years. And so that has been the battle I've been with for 5 years now, is getting Herkimer and Lambert Will, this 15-year-old kid from the Herkimer YMCA in 1891, recognized by Springfield and the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. And it's quite contentious, to say the least.
Does he have heirs?
Yeah, it was great. And so this team, I started this basketball team to help tell our story. There's a league in America called the ABA. When we were growing up, it was Dr. J.
Yeah.
The red, white, and blue basketball. Well, that shut down in 1976. NBA bought it, and they shut down all the ABA teams except they absorbed 4 of them. And in 1999,
1999.
a guy, crazy, Joe Newman licensed the ABA from the NBA and restarted the league. Today, there are over 100 teams in the ABA using the red, white, and blue basketball playing in smaller markets around the country. And so I put in for a franchise to get a team for Herkimer.
Right.
About a month later, I get a call, and I'm on the golf course with Alice, of course.
You're on the golf course a lot.
It's over 3,000 rounds of golf together, 34 years. And I get off the phone. Joe says, Scott, we got you a team. You're in. You're going to be in this season. I'm all excited. I hang up. I say, Alice, I just got a franchise in the ABA. And he'd been listening to everything all along, so he knew it was up. And he hits his shot, and he goes, you know what? You got to call them the originals. Because you had the first game, the first rim, first net. You got to call them the originals.
Yeah.
He hits his shot. He walks over to the cart, and on the scorecard, he writes Herkimer Originals. And he makes the O look like a rim and a net. And he goes, there's your name and your logo. You're welcome. 10 seconds. Yeah. That's Alice, right?
Yeah, that is him.
And now we just finished our 5th season. We have played in $1 million basketball tournament on Fox Sports. We've played in front of, all over the country. And this team has really helped get our story out there. So, yeah, it's been quite consuming, Kim, between the charity of revitalizing Main Street Herkimer, using this basketball story, where it happened.
Right.
And it's in a rough spot right now, so we're using that. And we just got a $10 million grant from New York State. A lot of positive movement. So it's taken some time to get it going.
Yeah.
I'm not good with politicians or people like that.
You're
I'm
pretty
very
blunt.
Yes. And so, a little awkward at first. I might have pushed some people a little far.
You need Jeff for that. Jeff's good at
I know.
talking
It's a gift. It's a skill set. I just didn't know.
Yeah. We all have different ones, but you were amazing for your mathematician skills. Absolutely amazing. So what's next for you, and where can people find you?
So my website is humancalculator.com, and you can find all this stuff there. Herkimer Originals are all under @Herkimer OGs. We're the OGs,
Okay.
But the foundation is called the Herkimer 9 Foundation. If you want to support us in any way you can there, it's we got the team. We do all kinds of basketball camps, and we're trying to become the Cooperstown of basketball.
Oh, there you go.
So that's a lot of work. And you can learn more about the National Counting Bee at the Human Calculator website as well. And all I can say, Kim, is I appreciate you seeing, as my friend, the enthusiasm that I put into math and numbers and how much it means to me, especially the kids. Yes. Thank you. Yeah. So it's really, it's a dream come true to have a God-given ability and use it for good.
Yes. Yes. That's why we're all here. Hopefully. Right? Pay it forward.
Pay it forward. I love that.
Yes. Yeah. Well, thank you.
Kim, thank you. And now, not to freak you out a little bit, but I do have a little surprise for you that you didn't notice, and I never brought up to you until now, because you introduced me to Chris at ESPN.
Yes.
Which was very special to me. You
Chris
know how
Berman,
much Chris Berman, Boomer, right?
He loves me.
And so I'm forever indebted to you for helping me bridge that.
Good.
But just so you know, if you look at your name, Guess how many letters are in Kim Alexis?
Probably 9.
There are 9. So, do.
I love it.
Thank
Yeah.
you for having me.
Yeah. Oh, that was great. I love it.
Thanks for watching the show. If you have any questions for me or you want any more information, go to kimalexis.com.